Hey everybody, Z with ZandGEmporium with the bonus videos, not just auction block videos, which hopefully I can get more and more content out to you guys. Interesting, fun stuff that's not just auction blocks, because we're getting closer and closer to being caught up with Graded Gem and being able to actually put out fun stuff for you guys. It's not just showing cards for an auction block. But I had to put a video out today because I got back 2 500 card submissions from PSA for my personal submission from the end of 2020. And what I got back was something that I had never experienced before. Now, I have submitted thousands and thousands and thousands of cards before and have never gotten something that was recolored. Now, we're going to go over in this video. So in this video, it's not going to be me ranting and raving against PSA. It's not going to be anything like that. It's really just going to be something that's hopefully educational to you guys, and you can figure out kind of what's going on. You can help me, in the comment section below, maybe how you figure out something that might be recolored and maybe what PSA is going through, because honestly, I've submitted, like I said, thousands and thousands of cards. Personally, we've submitted, over 100,000 cards with Graded Gem, and it's rare to get back something that says recolored. And I got back right here. This is close to 100 of my 1,000 cards that I submitted came back as recolored. Now, first of all, this is probably the most recolored cards you'll probably ever see on a YouTube video. I don't know if this is probably historic in a bad sense, but let's look at what recolored means. So recolored means that PSA deems this as somebody tried to color in some whitening, maybe put some blue marker, so as to make the card appear in better condition than it really is. That goes different than, now this will be on an auction block. This is somebody else's submission that'll be on an auction block in maybe a week or two. But this says VG3MK, which MK means marked. So you might mean, like, what's the difference between recolored and marked? Well, marked means that is, you can tell right here, it's a black marker at the bottom. So marked just means, hey, somebody was messing around, some kid was just putting a marker on there. Sometimes they scribbled the name on the back. It's something that it's definitely going to hurt the value or the grade of the card big time, but it wasn't nefarious in any situation. Somebody didn't put a mark there and say, hey, I hope I get a better grade because I put that. That's just something that happened over the years. Probably some kid 20 years ago was messing around and put a marker on it. That's what 3MK marks. So they will grade the card if it does have, someone scribbled their name and put in black marker, something that's very obviously not trying to get a better grade, and put it as that. So that's what that is. What the difference is recolored means that someone nefariously tried to make something. It's usually, from what I've seen over the years, is that usually people try to put some kind of blue marker across to cover up the whitening on a card to make it get a better grade, which obviously the reason why PSA would grade this is because it's like, okay, it's obvious, it's right there. Versus something like this, if they graded it, let's say a PSA 5, and they know that there's some kind of, recoloring aspect, someone sells it later and someone might say, oh, well, that's a really strong 5. That looks like more like a PSA 10. They might overpay for it, et cetera, et cetera. It's just not something that, PSA wants to deal with. Now, this is this is over multiple collections. These are multiple different types of cards. These are holographics. These are first edition. They're stuff like this where it's I'm not really sure what's going on here. So we're going to look at something like a card like this. I don't really see anything. I'm not really sure Pokemon they would, would they recolor the front of a card? I'm not sure how they would do it. It's usually on the back where whitening is. So something like this, there's definitely whitening still there. There's definitely a little whitening there. There's a whitening and like almost a little like bend right there on that one. Now, guys, you got to remember when I was submitting these cards in, the end of 2020, I was getting, not only was I not paying $8.99 a card, I was paying even less than that a card, because one of the perks for, working as a, dealer of PSA is that I got to submit at the dealer prices. So all these 500 cards, I was paying less than $8.99 a card. If I submitted, almost 100 cards today, it would cost me $100 a card, right? Because you can only get 5 cards, if you get in the lottery system of $50 a card. So this would cost me $9,000 to grade these cards. Whereas when I paid for these, it cost me less than $900, $800. So that kind of sucks because, I did still have to pay for these. So I still lost hundreds and hundreds of dollars, and they won't be graded. So I'm going to have to hold on to these for who knows what and figure out what to do with them. But, basically what I wanted to show you guys is that I really wanted your guys' help. What is a way you guys think is the best way to figure out if something is recolored or not? Because there were some cards that's like, why would anybody recolor like this? Now, I had a complete Southern Island set, and some in here, let's see if we can find. Here's the Primate was recolored, the Pidgeot, the Lapras, the Onyx, the Ivysaur, the Togepi. That was a holo version. The Raticate. It's funny. I think almost every single Southern Island showed as recolored, even though I pulled it right out of a binder that someone had. Now, someone might have pulled it out and played with them. As you can see, there's still a little whitening. But for some reason, the Mew was graded. The Mew was graded, I believe, a 7 or an 8, which is the most valuable card by far. Like the card that you would think people would recolor if they were trying to be nefarious and try to do that. So, what I usually, check for is what I think is that, usually check for whitening and see if anybody put kind of a blue marker on there. I don't see anything. You'd think the whitening would be the edges, the places that they would put the marker. Now, there is some kind of like grime or whatever you call it on that. Maybe I could clean the card up. But there's nothing there. And when I put the card, a lot of people say if you put the card in between. Now, I guess for this video, I should have pulled out some bulk, but I did have some bulk around here. You know what? Let me just go find some right now. Here, I am back, and I've got some bulk right here. So there are people that say you can put it in. Now, maybe I should get modern bulk. I just had some, or vintage bulk, but I don't think that really matters in this situation. So you usually put it in between, right, all the cards, and you can tell if you like squeeze them here if there is some recoloring, because there will be something that stands out to where, there's actually some recoloring. So there's something there. It looks like just a bend. Let's see what card that is. Is that the actual Butterfree? Let's see. No, that's just a Jigglypuff. That's just one of the modern bulk. So I don't see anything there. If I squeeze here, I don't see anything. You'd see because if someone tries to color something, the blue marker, whatever it is, will bleed to the edge. So I don't see anything there. And I'm looking here as well. I'm not seeing anything that really jumps out there, and I don't really see anything on the back. So, if you guys have any, tips for me on how I can, and this will help people in the future, because people might watch this video and they might look at the comments. It's like, hey, how can I help someone figure that out? Because, there are some big cards in here and some crap cards and stuff that I would probably not even grade nowadays, and it's probably going to take me a long time to get back. So what's your guys' suggestion on these to look for these? Because here's everything. You're looking at base styles, you're looking at first edition jungle stuff, Blossom, some promos. There's look at that, an Alakazam first edition base. There's a decent amount of whitening on the bottom. I believe this is one of the cards that did the same trick. I'd look at it and I didn't see any bleed at the front or back. It's probably like a PSA 6 or 7, 7 at best, but it's still a first edition. Look at that Shining Raichu. Why would anybody there's a billion of these cards, these Pikachus. So, as you can tell, these are a lot of cards to be recolored over, a wide set of, look at that, Charizard base set 2. And I believe that was a nice card. I believe every other base set 2 card, maybe there's another one, but was graded, but that one was. Oh yeah, and the Venusaur wasn't as well, even though there was, there's some whitening down there as well. And I checked, probably a handful of these cards. I haven't had time to really look, but I did that little test. I looked at the bag and see any kind of, is there a light that I can look? I talked to Old School Pokemon and Catch 'em All Collectibles. They said maybe get a jeweler's loop. You can look at it. Maybe some kind of black light. Would that help? But I'm not sure they were totally sure as well. Look at these, all these Southern Islands. And it just kind of, it's interesting to me because I've never got, these were, it's just kind of crazy how many of these were just not, were just said recolored, do not reholder. So, I mean, and this looks like a pretty mint card. So maybe we can see if there's some nefarious blue looking, you know, is that, I mean, that just looks like it's the card stock right there. I don't know. I mean, like I said, I've submitted thousands of cards, never had anything like this before. And this is over several, this wasn't just one person collection, this was several. Because, you know, I have it down on a spreadsheet so that I can do the profit and loss and then pay taxes at the end of the year, blah, blah, blah. But, I mean, look at this, a Cleffa. I mean, an unlimited Cleffa. Like, this would, like, almost not going to be worth grading for, like, even if I send in again in years down the road. So what are you guys' suggestions for this? What should I get? What should I look at? Here's some, you know, energize your game promos, best of game. Should I maybe take the top 5 most expensive? There's a first edition Magneton. Should I take maybe the top 5 most expensive and pay, you know, bite the bullet and pay the $50, do the lottery, get 5 of what I look at it really closely and I don't see anything and send it in and see if they grade it? I mean, what happens if I submit 5 of these at the $50 tier and they grade all of them? I mean, what's kind of the I don't know. Or if I do send them in all 5, that'll be kind of an experiment and they come back recolored again, then, I mean, at that point, I guess I'm at a loss and I need to, you know, maybe you guys can kind of help me out and see where I can find it. Look at this. It's a base set Charizard right here. Let's see what it looks like. Let's see the holo. The holo has some scrap. I mean, look, there's a ding there. I mean, it's not, I mean, it's a Charizard, but it's nothing, it's definitely nothing to write home about. There's some definite whitening along the edges. Whitening there. A dent. I mean, it's not, you know, I don't know. So I just kind of wanted to show you guys in this video all these cards that came back recolored. It's probably something that, you know, almost nobody is going to show on YouTube, probably because they're embarrassed that they submitted so many recolored cards, or it's just never really happened before. But this is just kind of insane. There's some more Southern Islands. Like I said, the Mew was graded though, but every other one was not. Strange, very strange. So that's all I have for today, guys. Let me guys know what you think down below. It's kind of interesting to see that kind of thing, but hey, there you go.